My production, we are doing Shark Tank, MasterChef India. We are doing Indian Idol and Kaun Banega Crorepati.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, in continuation with my series, Follow Your Passion and Make Career Choices with Confidence and sometimes maybe with confusion. When you enter 11th standard, you really don't know what you actually want to do and what are your skills and where would you be more suited. So, actually, wanting to guide the new generation, my present students, with examples of my ex-students who have been pursuing some very unconventional directions after taking up science and sharing with you their journey so that it gives you confidence, it gives you ideas, what are the opportunities that you can chase and how life sometimes, doesn't start that well, starts with the confusion, but then it takes you to beautiful areas of life. So we begin with another such interview. I introduce and welcome Jasmine Puri, and now Jasmine Puri Babbar.
Jasmine.
Yeah. Jasmine Babbar. She's married into the Babbar family. Jasmine is a daughter-in-law of Raj Babbar. She's married to his son,
Aarya Babbar.
And she was with me roughly in 2009. She joined sciences, 11th non-medical. And then she is going to share how she kept on changing her direction and where life led her and what are her experiences. So off to you, Jasmine, and welcome. And so glad to have you on my channel. I hope this really gives, confidence to many of my students to chase life with all the confidence. You never know when something good falls your way. So you introduce yourself, Jasmine.
Ma'am, first of all, thank you so much. I'm so overwhelmed to be in this situation where I'm having this conversation with you because the memories still jitter back that padhai karni hai, seriously karni hai, and all of that, those thoughts never go. But somewhere down the lane, I would honestly want to say this, that they really helped me as a person shape the way I am today. So yeah, I've enjoyed this journey of being a student, being a science student, and then many other things that I ventured on. And today I'm a full-fledged producer. My short film has just released on Disney Hotstar. So, but journey from being a science student to an engineer to a producer was a roller coaster ride for me. So,
okay. Yeah. So, Jasmine, let us start from, the time when you were in 10th standard and you had to make a choice of the stream. And what I remember, you were a very good skater. Am I right?
Yes, I'd represented India. Yeah.
India at the international level.
Yes, I had participated in the World Championship and Asians and won medals in them.
Yeah, because my first memory of you is hearing your medals and awards at the intercom during those school years. So I just remembered you that way. How did you, decide that you wanted to take up non-med, and how did you make a choice?
Ma'am, actually, it was an easy choice, I would like to say, because I did really well in sports and I did want to pursue my sports. But at that time, skating was not a cricket or a hockey or any of those games which were really highlighted. So it was like this is a very serious conversation with coming from a very educated family of, lawyers, teachers and doctors, that there's no career. So while we gave so much into my game, like I wish there were better opportunities and I could have pursued that because I missed it today. But having said that, our teacher, Mrs. Neeta Khanna, was there as a school counselor. I remember. I went up to her because to me it was a very huge life-changing decision that today I'm going to take this stream and that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. This was the norm back then. Today, after maybe 15 years later, I realized that no decision is permanent. It's all right. Like everything needs to be tried. First you try and then you say no, rather than just assuming. So anyways, there was this also a pseudo mentality, I would say, at that time, that अच्छे हैं जो पढ़ाई में या अच्छे students हैं तो वो medical या non-medical लेंगे.
No, आज
And
भी,
if you can't
even
make
today,
it,
Jasmine, even today, this is the reason I've opted for these interviews with children, that it's not important to pick up science or commerce or humanities, and it's not important ki the ones who have a better IQ or whatever. I think you should choose a stream where you feel a passion for. You feel you are skilled in that direction. So, but our Indian system, grades the intelligent lot as it's considered to be a status symbol if you've taken sciences and if you've taken commerce and humanities, which shouldn't be there. Which shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't, I swear. But even like, yeah, as you said, even today when you say, oh, a doctor, oh, an engineer, there's that like sudden spark on the face. But when, like this is something I faced personally after today, I feel I've done well in my career where I'm at today. But still, when you're striking a conversation with somebody and you're saying that, I'm a producer. Okay, what does that entail? Like, what do you do? What is your job? It's, and then I have to say so what did you study? I said, I'm an engineer. Oh, so you're an engineer.
I think it really adds to that when you say you're an engineer or a doctor, people can relate to what you have exactly done. I would say it's a non-conventional direction after sciences. So I think people in your field would be knowing it well. What you're doing, they can identify. But
absolutely.
General public, it's difficult, to understand how you would have managed to reach those places and what is the requirement. Even today, supposing I want my child to pursue what you're doing, I wouldn't have a knowledge of how should I go about, from where to start. You getting my point?
So suppose, so rightly said. Yeah. Like, because all along when I told my mom I wanted to be in media, I wanted to, I wanted to be a part of filmmaking and this and that. Mm-hmm. This is a very legit conversation that has been had, that tum science पढ़ लो, tum पढ़ाई कर लो, फिर कुछ science students तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. While I get that, but there's a huge but to it. Like, I wish, I would have spent those like 5-6 years of my education maybe studying what filmmaking is. Maybe that would have been more handy to me.
Exactly. But Jasmine, see, here we cannot say mom was not right. One basic thought process that we have, if you don't have a well-defined direction in mind, put the child into sciences, because that gives, I also believe that gives you an ethic of hard work. If you're not
Correct.
If you're not exactly sure what is your skill, what do you really want to do, there's no harm. So how did your journey go, Jasmine?
So before even realizing the fact, like you said, how did you, why was non-medical chosen? Not just the conversation with my parents, but there was another factor that when you also wanted to choose arts, the subjects that I was getting to study as a part of humanities were geography or social studies or history. But those aren't the subjects that were the core of what I thought I wanted to do in future. Like, I wanted to study language, literature. Those were all very optional, one out of like 100 things that you're studying. So again, like, that's why non-medical, as you said, like, when it's not clear, the path is not clear, it was just easier to fall back on these because you're scoring well in them, you are doing fine. So it's just like that safe net. So after selecting non-medical, then we started classes and everything. A very, very strange statement happened in, I think, about the first 2 months of studying in non-medical. I don't want to take the teacher's name, but I want to say that, like, we are really impressionable students, like whatever our teachers say, that really, I mean, it takes a home in our heart, and we live with it. Like, I think I still live with that chip on my shoulder till date. We were told things like, we were struggling. Most of the class was struggling because from your 10th to 11th, there's a huge jump in what you're studying. The subjects are extremely different. The concepts are so new. So this teacher has said, like, you all students, you think you're toppers of 10th grade and all of that and doing non-medical. Nothing's going to happen for you in life. And you're not even going to probably get admission in some random village college of Punjab. So just go back home. How are, like, we literally are all students who've scored like above 90% in our 10th grade. And this is where we are at. What is this?
Jasmine, no. If you ask me, that time it's required, to keep children in those spirits. I think every teacher, when we enter +1, every teacher tells them reality also.
Ma'am, it's absolutely discouraging.
It's a reality also. We cannot tell them it's going to be smooth sailing. So you can just enjoy your party time and you can just have fun. You need to tell them, this is not the way you're going to reach anywhere. Okay.
That's the first jhatka I got. But then anyways, while studying and everything, it was just not feeling, somehow there was something missing. Like while studying, what I was doing, I was doing well. It's not like I was failing in any subjects or anything. Everything's fine, but there was some elements missing, and I asked my mom that it's not, like, I'm not gelling over here. It's not working out for me. So then we decided to just take myself out of the school and probably just prepare for IIT through private education and all of that. So we tried that part.
You got into dummy admission.
Yeah. I was just appearing for exams, and then I was studying in Chandigarh for my IIT. Again, because my heart wasn't there, I was like, okay, fair enough. I'm doing fine, but it's just that happiness is constantly missing. I would try and find events to do. I would try and do 200 extracurricular activities that would keep me creatively satisfied that, okay, I'm doing something fruitful with my life. There is some purpose to it. So
this was during 11th and 12th.
This was during 11th and 12th.
Okay. And I'm interrupting you with one more point that I would want you to, convey to students, that I see so many students leaving Ludhiana or leaving their city and going to Chandigarh, Delhi, and so on to pursue with a dream, that probably those places are going to give success towards IIT and dream colleges. But did that really help, going out of town?
Ma'am, it helped me shape as a person, but nothing to do with me doing well in IIT.
Yes. Because that, I think, comes from within first.
Yeah. I would do the same I would do the same hard work sitting in the four walls of my house with the same kind of access. Today we have access to internet. Like, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So everything can be done from your hometown. But the fact of me having to step out of my house, of my comfort zone, being in a different place, just helped me grow, which has nothing to do with education. That's about it.
And the struggles of life also actually help you grow. They test you and then pull you out of your comfort zone. And that's like one aspect, I think, that you learned during those years.
It did. Ma'am, so that became like, I never appeared for my 12th board exams. Before that only, I had made my decision that I'm not going to stay in India. It's not the place that I want to be at. I'm so glad that I had such supportive parents that every step of the way, there was always a yes. Okay, do it. Try it, fall down, dekha jayega. It was never that, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? Ye kiya to ye kyo kar rahe hai? But that, like, I'm glad I had that support. I know many of my friends never had that support. But anyways, that helped me take the decision of, I'm going to Australia. That's where I'm going to study further. So we found out courses. My mother only helped me find out courses. I took admission in Bachelor's of Architecture. So buildings is something that fascinated me a lot. So I did Bachelor's of Architecture. Okay. Over there, I learned one very beautiful thing, which is something I've never seen in Indian system. After doing my first year, there are various other streams that we still had the opportunity to figure that, are we wanting to continue our architecture or specialize in a different stream under the same umbrella and not waste that 1 year that has just gone by. So that helped me make my decision and choose building surveying, which is under the architectural category. So whereas I am studying civil engineering as well as architecture, and I'm specializing in buildings.
Okay.
So that is something that fascinated me, and I got that because I got that freedom and leeway to be able to decide what to do. I think it became a little bit easier than just being told, ye 4 options hai, isme se select kar lo. So
So you started with non-med, then you ended up into an Australian university choosing architecture. And from there, you became a building surveyor.
Surveyor, yes.
Okay. And so you worked also as a building surveyor?
I did. So within the second year, I was placed, like I got my job placement. And then after finishing my graduation, also I did my building surveying job as under precision building surveying. Mm-hmm. That was my first job. And then I moved on to another corporate. I had two jobs while I was staying in Australia. And I was offered a junior partnership in the company. So that's when I decided to take a sabbatical leave. Like I wanted to come back home. I had not visited India for like more than 6 years. So like I just want to take some time off, go home and see how things are at. I'd like, बहुत मन उठ गया था मेरा इंडिया से रहना ही नहीं है.
Okay. Basically, what led you? You were saying कि मन उठ गया था. Probably that was due to the struggles of those years, initial years, where you were not fitting into something, finding a way, and you were not literally enjoying what you were doing.
I think the thing is that there's like गिन के 4-5 boxes. If you don't tick any of them, then you're not fitting in.
Yeah.
And I was like, मुझे थोड़ा यहाँ का चाहिए, थोड़ा यहाँ का चाहिए. So अभी where am I supposed to go?
Right.
So yeah, Australia gave me that leeway that while I was pursuing my degree, because that's something at the back of the head that remained, that पढ़ाई कर लो, degree ले लो, and then you do whatever you want. So with that, while I was studying and making a career out of whatever I had studied in, I was doing emceeing, I was hosting events, I was involved in a lot of creative side of media at that time back in Australia.
Initial break where you got chances to host events or get into that direction.
So I had greater access to opportunities. I had joined Shamak Babbar Institute where I was pursuing dance, and then I got an opportunity to host an event, and then one thing led to another, and I just kept getting events. But nonetheless, living there, I also had to earn. I had to earn my living, daily wages, and your monthly expenditure had to be taken care of. Though my parents were supporting, but you had that opportunity to earn it for yourself. So I wanted to. So I picked up something where my heart lies. That this is something that's going to give me happiness. So let me just have it with me on the side. So yeah.
Okay. So how many years did you work as an event manager or something?
So ma'am, my entire duration in Australia, I had that alongside.
No, you were doing freelancing? Was it freelancing?
I was freelancing. That was, yes. That was just like sometimes an event would come and I would be a part of it, and that's about it.
Okay.
That was not like a permanent job. That was always building surveying. That was my permanent job.
Okay. So then when you moved to India?
So luckily, after coming back to India, I got an opportunity to come to Bombay, and there was this one workshop that was happening, and I wanted to attend that. Just because I was in India and I wanted to explore something, and then I came to Bombay to attend that workshop. It was about 15 days workshop in theatre that I attended. I enjoyed whatever little bit I learned and whatever I got to be a part of. That's when it came to my mind that let me just give it a go. Like, what if I get something that I actually might like? So I applied for a job in this company called Endemol Shine Group, which is an Australian company. That's the only thing I knew which was Australian in India. So I applied. And luckily, I got my first job in that company. And then it was like, okay, let me just try. Let's try it out and see if it works. And that was it.
Okay. So what are you presently doing? From there, how did your career develop, and what are you presently doing?
So I learned on the job. That was the most beautiful part of it. Like yes, my education helped me, but I learned everything on the job. I started as an artist manager, which is just basically coordinating who has to reach on the set at what time, and who has to leave at what time, what is supposed to happen, like are we supposed to shoot now, take a break, just management part of it.
Okay.
So my first show was Voice. It was, I don't remember the channel, telecasted on, but it had Sunidhi Chauhan and Himeshi and Mika. So they were a part of the show. And it was a very overwhelming experience for me to be able to secure this job on my own, coming from a very, very different background. The pay which I was used to while I was making a living in Australia was probably here, and I had fallen right here at that intern level. But somewhere it gave me that happiness which my fulfilling and high paid job never did. So that became a trigger that I think I'm doing something wrong. That was the clarity. And that happened while I was discovering this job.
Okay. And then you developed yourself in
and
that.
And that's it. I started working. I started working in this company at that position. As shows kept coming back to me, I was getting promoted on, and I had that opportunity. Again, like I told you, in Australia, I had that opportunity to choose. Here also, thankfully, it was a great company that let me fly. They gave me the opportunity to, like, okay, so you've done this, now you want to maybe try this or try this. So I started to understand how costumes are done, how styling is done, and then how production, how the entire thing, like we see such a beautiful 30 minutes, 40 minutes episode. What goes behind it it's so amusing. It's so, like, it lights my face to explain that it's like 100, 150 of us working so hard day in and day out to produce those 40 minutes that an audience sees and judges you for it. So I learned that aspect, and slowly and steadily, like I think within a year of working, I knew that I wanted to be somebody running a company like that.
Okay, fine. So today, what all you have done in that direction?
So I worked on a lot of non-fiction shows while I was doing my job. And thankfully, my first break, when I decided to open my company, it's called Babbar House Production. When I wanted to start my company, I was so lucky that the channel I had worked for so long, Sony Television, gave me my first opportunity as a producer. So I started with this show called India's Best Dancer, and just yesterday we've launched the season 3 of it again. I was lucky that they trusted me with my work and my skills. Maybe I built that trust, and yeah, so I have been doing non-fiction shows. Apart from that, now I'm venturing into films. I've just produced a short film which has released on Disney Plus Hotstar.
Okay. And what are the other main entry points which really, helped you to learn something more about this field? I think I
think earlier on, there's another thing that I discovered, which was, this is something I would like to say, which is not learning on set, which is, after being married into a family which is all about films and culture, and you know how that outside notion is that, oh, filmy family hai. I don't understand that term though till date, but there's something so loving. I figured being a part of this family is that the coffee table conversations and the dinner table conversations, what you learn is more than what I've possibly learned while I was studying. Like our parents, like my father and my mother are discussing films. It's not like kya bura tha, kya acha tha. We're literally discussing them like a subject. Like how you would, read a novel, that why is this scene there? Why is that scene made or written? Why is this dialogue written? How is this being shot? So that process of learning really came from home, I would like to say. And then, I was lucky that my mentors were loving and teaching, thoughtful about the fact that most of our industry is very unorganized, the sector. And most of the people working in the industry, ma'am, are barely educated. Yeah. Because of, again, like how we were talking about, there's barely any opportunity to think that you will do filmmaking as your bachelor's. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't pick that as your career over here. But what I've discovered, so many of us, including my husband, he, after being in the industry for years and years, recently went to New York to study a course in filmmaking because he wanted to be a director. Education is so important, and even in this field, it's important to learn. While you might take 2 years to learn something on ground, it's great to have that 6 months of theoretical knowledge also. So that,
And Jasmine, learning is never going to end. Once you learn something, you ace that particular field, by the time something new comes up. And then you are required to change your ways, how you take your profession. So anyone who really wants to stay in a field, you need to learn every day. I think we all need to learn till our last breath if we want to stay.
We have to. Yeah. That's so true.
Nothing pays without consistent input all your life.
I'm getting inspired from my mother every day. She's telling me new things about technology and making videos. She can do it, so can I.
Why? Yeah. That's really great. So, what do you feel, Jasmine, now, whatever you're doing now, if let us say you had decided to do this after 10th, do you have any idea what field you should have chosen and what should have been your path? If somebody wants to get into this, right? So with our school or with the kind of subjects we are offered in 11th and 12th, so what could have been your choices?
Ma'am, so I am not sure if arts and humanities still offer the same subjects which were there 10-15 years ago. I think there are more opportunities now, but I do feel like if anybody wants to try the field of media, should consider mass communication, should definitely consider humanities, because at our times the subjects like theatre and 200 other things which were creatively inclined like literature, writing, etc. were optional, which I don't think are optional now. I think you can select them as a subject in arts. So definitely language is a very big help. Today, I am equipping myself with many languages so that I can write better. Like, I want to give a hand on screenplay writing and everything. So I'm trying to learn Urdu. I'm trying to learn Hindi in a very different way. So yeah, those are the things one can really consider. Learning language. Storytelling ka base is learning language.
Okay. And Mama was sharing with me you received some award recently.
Yeah. So that's, like you said, you always should keep yourself updated and keep pivoting, right? So while I am a producer today, I also, so on my job, like I told you, I also discovered how to style and how to do costumes and everything. So that is something that I'm very passionate about even today. So I chose my Instagram to become a space for me to express and explore. So I started fashion and lifestyle conversations on my social media, which I don't know by what grace today I recently received an award as a budding fashion influencer. It was done by Lakme. So yeah, that's the award you mentioned about.
That's so you are happy like where you are. And yes, another thing, Jasmine, I wanted to ask, what do you think if we look at the package that you get or you earn, is it the same as or better than or lesser than what you would have received if you had pursued your architecture or the degree that you actually did?
I would like to say there's no comparison. Every field has its own starting, and it really depends on the skill that you start pursuing. So even in media, there's like 200 job opportunities. Media is like such a vast term. Today, you can become an editor, you can become a DOP. It's extremely paying, and as long as you're willing to work hard and put in the hours. It's again, like, there's no comparison to feel like, but I feel still as a science or a corporate job person, there's a limit. There's a limit to everything. I feel this as in media, the field is so open, and it's up to you to fly as high as you want to. Probably for me, I thought that I'm getting saturated at where I am. Like, if I'm already a project head or a supervising producer, what next for me? So I thought of having my own production company. I wanted to be an entrepreneur while I was being a producer. So right now I have a sea which is wide open for me to tell number of stories in 200 ways possible. So and financially, if you say, this is what secured me. Like, I left a high-paying job in Australia to do this, and a few years down the track, it's been worth it.
And in of time, the time input, what is expected?
What is expected? So
expected time input on everyday basis. Like, is it a 9 to 5 kind of a thing, or is it unlimited
it's not,
hours?
ma'am. It's not at all a 9 to 5 job. Like, if you are wanting to be a part of media, you need to understand that you have to be available, especially in your initial years when you are trying to prove yourself. Like, you are worth it. You are worth being a part of this. It can be probably a 24-hour day also. I have had shoots where when we've been outdoors, we've been working day in and day out. And yeah.
So where do you see yourself, Jasmine, a few years down the line?
Ma'am, I think Jasmine Babbar, producer to many and many films like what Yash Raj is today.
Okay. Okay. So that's really nice. So that was nice. Anything else that you would like to share or convey to the new generation? Any message, Jasmine?
There are two things I would definitely like to say that I don't think so anybody needs to take the pressure of the fact कि मैंने ये पढ़ाई की है तो अभी मुझे इसी में काम करना है. It like change is the only constant. Like, we've learned this so much living all our lives that I might have a different interest today. I might have a different interest tomorrow. Till the time you find that one spot in your heart that lights up, like that doesn't care कि मैं 9 बजे ऑफिस जा रहा हूँ, मैं 5 बजे घर जा रहा हूँ, मेरी सैलरी कितनी आ रही है. When that element goes on the side and you're actually happy, wanting to show up to work, that's where your passion lies. So you need to find it.
Yeah. And sometimes it comes, early for some people, but for some people it takes years to actually find your calling, to find your purpose, and where your heart lies and what you do best. It takes years to identify. So I think one should always be on the go, always trying to explore and find out what really fits best into our life. What are we basically here for? And I think this new generation also needs to learn that it takes years to build up something very great. So do not lose patience and just keep going. If you know what you want to do, do it. If you do not know, still be patient, go with the flow, and you will find it one fine day. So this is very important.
Yeah, and ma'am, that pressure you have to take that pressure off from yourself. That मैंने तो आज ये decide किया था, अभी 4 साल बाद I don't like it. It's all right.
Okay,
maybe you are going to reach somewhere which is waiting for you to come.
Yes, and they say success is basically passing through so many failures and then getting to know this is what is not to be done and this is what is not my kind of life. And then finally, you reach the place, probably what you are made for, what you really love. And there's no harm taking risks. There's no harm trying new things. It's perfectly okay. Life gives, different experiences, different challenges. Everything is different for two individuals. So we should just explore our journey with a lot of patience. And particularly this generation, my heart sometimes really, I don't know how to express this. When these children at this age, 11th, 12th, they, look so lackluster, जैसे कोई है ही नहीं life में, direction नहीं है. And this present generation is so off into wrong things at the wrong time. Into social media, wasting so much time, बिना reason के, simply in their comfort zone. Jabki this is an age to actually pull yourself out of that comfort zone and trying something different, something new, passion, some kind of interest. I don't know. I keep guiding my children, kuch to karo, kuch bhi karo. But either you should be studying or hobby. Like, I think when you were going in for skating, you were putting a lot of effort, Jasmine, what I know.
Ma'am, everything I want to really add to this, that everything I did all my life has got me where I am today. Like, frankly, if I did not do those 4 a.m. days while I was skating, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. regardless of anything. Be it chilly winters or it's raining. It really didn't matter. I have up at 4, out at 4:30. That was the routine. And today I don't mind. Like I don't mind putting so many hours a day while I'm at work. Then even while I did science and I learned how to make buildings, that helps me today. I don't think so. Like I really know how to make a set. What goes into it? What goes into the construction of it? I know it by book. Like it's not that I have to hire somebody special to figure it out for me. While that's also all right, but everything I did has paid its part.
Yeah, everything, builds you up. So many times I observed when my children were growing up. So I was, an over-involved mom, you can say, ki learn this also, learn these skills, learn web designing at the age when they were in 8th standard. And now, art and music and this and that. But finally, what I observe and what I feel today, nothing goes waste. Absolutely nothing
Not
goes
at
waste.
all.
Every component builds up your personality, it adds to your creativity, adds to your skills. And we cannot see everything microscopically, but actually, every small component, the ethic of hard work, when you actually take your ears seriously, they all build up to create the final product. It's not just one day's work.
This is something I had recently had a conversation with somebody about that. Somebody had given me a small task of ये मुझे इतना कुछ script लिखना है and I need help with it. So I like at this short notice, can you write the script and shoot the entire thing and do it for me? Yes. And I raise them a invoice for it. The person comes and says this to me, ये तो मतलब it took you only so much time. It took you hardly this much time and what is this kind of invoice? I said, it's the 15 years that you can't see
Yeah.
Yes. that I walked to reach here.
And even,
So that's what.
Good schooling and the language, the communication skills, so many things. There are so many subtle things which become part of your personality.
So I'm so grateful to like convent school and culture. It never felt like I'm an alien living in a different country because you're exposed to it all. Like today, I don't have. So I was raised in a Christian Catholic school, and then household mein we like by birth I'm a Sardarni. I'm married into a Hindu Punjabi family. My mother-in-law is a Muslim. I've come to respect all of it. That I am able to today choose out of all these religions and cultures, whatever little bit I can maybe resonate with. So it all somewhere really helped. Like my schooling helped me talk, find my faith. And, my education helped me where I am today. So it's like, yeah, it's really important.
It was really nice, Jasmine, talking to you after so long, after so many years. And I think this was meant to happen.
We are doing Shark Tank, MasterChef India. We are doing Indian Idol and Kaun Banega Crorepati, and pretty much all the non-fiction, non-scripted shows that you see.
What do you exactly do?
So when I say production, there are two aspects to it. Like one is actually ideating the entire thing, shooting the entire thing, and then there's a second element which is the post-production of it. Rather, there's a third element to it, which is promoting what has been shot before it is released. Like you might be seeing those few 30-second videos which play on TV or which come up on social media. So I'm involved in all of it. Like I do all of it as a part of, so we decide what the show is going to be, who the judges are going to be, when is it being shot, how many people are required, what is the set going to look like, when is it going to air, and then once we film the entire thing, it takes about 12 cameras and 12 cameramen and 2 directors to shoot the entire thing. So once it's all done, we sit down on the edit table and figure out after shooting the entire day. So we shoot 2 episodes a day. So say we've shot for like 12 hours and we have to remove just about 2 hours of content from that to play in the episode. So, yeah, all that entails in producing a show, and I'm a part of it. And the promos that you see, that is solely under my company. There's no third person involved. So I'm the solo person who's doing all these promotional videos which come before the episodes are aired.
Okay. Okay. So that's really nice to know that you're doing something very interesting. So there's so much out in the world to see and enjoy and observe and experience. So that's beautiful. Okay, Jasmine. So that was nice, Bhatia, talking to you. May
Thank
God
you.
bless you, and may God bless you with a very fulfilling journey ahead. God bless
Thank
you.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you.